So when we're in Central America, when you're in Nicaragua, we become very sensitive to certain things that people complain about all the time. Things like losing power, bad internet, lack of hot water, all of those kinds of things. And when you're there, you think, man, I miss the United States. I miss all these things that aren't problems back there. But the reality is we're just very sensitive to them in Central America. Coming back to the United States, it was very evident that we had just as many or more power issues, way more network issues, and while the water was generally hotter, we still had hotels with cold water here in the United States. So all of the things that we tend to be like really sensitive about, because we're sure Central America it's got to be worse at these things, and these have to be things that we're putting up with rather than having be really good. It isn't true. We've built these perceptions before we even go, and we sense them a lot. When you're in the United States and you lose power, you're like, hey, I'm in the US, I lost power. What can you expect from me? Right? And people just go, oh, of course, sometimes you lose power. When you lose power in Nicaragua, everyone's like, well, this wouldn't happen if you were in the United States. And of course it does, right? We had a multi-day power outage in Texas just before we moved. We came back, we had power outages once we were here. The networking is terrible here. Everywhere we go, it's either slow or buggy. I have spent the last week with it down every 15 minutes for a minute or two. It's nuts how poor the quality is on a lot of that stuff here. But when you're here, people excuse it. And when you're somewhere else, even tiny outages are blown out of proportion, and you even when you're there, you feel it like, oh my gosh, would this have happened to me somewhere else? Yes, it would have, right? And the entire time we've been here, we've had people back at our hotel, they have no network issues while we were here, no power issues while we were here, and we have double generators now, by the way. The hot water thing is what it is, but we can fix that. And the places that consistently had hot water here were people's homes. Once we build our own home, we're going to consistently have hot water. So it really isn't the difference that you would think. And the really dramatic thing, the traffic. Yes, in Nicaragua, to get somewhere, it's a very slow move. The roads are not high speed. There tends to be slow moving trucks in the road. It does take a while to get places, but you schedule for that ahead of time. Yesterday, getting from Houston to the airport, that took 2 hours. 2 hours to go to the local airport in completely stopped traffic. That was very dangerous. In Nicaragua, it may take 2 hours to get to the airport, but it's a comfortable, constantly moving, predictable, and safe drive. This was incredibly dangerous, very stressful, and completely unpredictable. Same amount of time. And the difference is, in one, we're going 2 cities away. In the other, we're going to the local airport within the same city. That's how different. Now, it's a bigger city, of course. It is a completely different experience than you prepare yourself for. It still feels like when you're in Nicaragua that, wow, I drove all the way across the country to get to the airport. How inconvenient. When you're in Houston and go to the local airport, you think, wow, that was just bad traffic, but at least the airport was conveniently close. But it's not, right? It's not close, it's not fast, it's not convenient. It is really, really hard and stressful to get to, and we were all on edge just trying to get to the airport because we were worried about missing our flight. We had no idea how long it was actually going to take. We couldn't predict anything, and the driving was so stressful. So after 2 weeks in the United States, even the things that we anticipated being the highlights, the things that should have gotten better, didn't. Many were moderately better or the same, and the traffic was dramatically worse. But that kind of stuff. I should also note, hotel breakfasts consistently in the United States, so bad that you should not bother to get it. And if you do, just throw it away. In Nicaragua, every breakfast that comes free with your hotel is delicious. Cooked just for you. It's not a buffet. It's not cold. It's not disgusting. It's not from a packet. It's always fresh made by a cook with fresh ingredients and delicious. It may not be a style that you like, but it's a high quality meal consistently. I've never had one that wasn't made well. It may not be a style that I was looking for. It may not be what I wanted that morning, but it's always made pretty decently. Some are really good, some are but they're never bad. I can't remember the last time I actually had a breakfast in the United States at a hotel where I said, oh, that was actually tasty. Not a thing.